Hello and welcome back to the channel. As a continuation of Black History Month, we're going to be sharing a story with you that directly links again to historical treatment of Black people here in America. It's very important that we do this because there was no break in the chain. So whenever we talk about these things, it needs to be understood that we talk about them because we are seeing a continuation of this type of treatment. In this story, we're talking about an innocent disabled man who was attacked by police officers. They ripped off his prosthetic leg only because they saw a black man going into a gas station. They accused him of something in which there's no video camera that I've heard of. Has any of you heard of a video camera that has proven otherwise? They're claiming that he was urinating in public, but so far there has been no evidence of that presented. Okay, so anyway, I want you to take a listen at this report, and I will be right back.
On the day he was attacked, according to his attorney, Waverly Lucas, 48, had committed no crime, had harmed no one, and was merely attempting to walk into a convenience store. However, as readers of the Free Thought Project understand, innocence in the land of the free is no defense against police violence. Lucas is now suing Suffolk County after he was left with a fractured orbital bone, blurred vision, a broken wrist, and severe emotional trauma, thanks to Suffolk's finest. What happened to Waverly is an example, a small example, of what happens every single day in Black and brown communities at the hands of the police, said Lucas attorney Heather Palmore of Melville. Though police have announced an internal investigation into the incident, they have refused to release any other details about the stop. According to Lucas, however, the officers falsely accused him of urinating in public. We know this was false as well, due to the fact that he was not charged with anything related to urinating in public. According to the lawsuit, after falsely accusing Lucas of urinating in public, the officers demanded to see his ID. When he refused to show it, one of the officers moved in for the kill and began choking Lucas. Part of this interaction was captured on video. Lucas was then handcuffed and dragged to the police car where he was shoved in and his leg ripped from his body. By the time the debacle was over, 4 cop cars had pulled into the store parking lot. Not only was Mr. Lucas purposefully elbowed by one of the officers in his right eye, fracturing his right orbital, but Mr. Lucas' prosthetic leg was ripped off and thrown into the trunk of the police vehicle, the notice of claim said.
Okay, these officers referred to as America's finest, brave men in blue, decided to rip off a man's prosthetic leg, a disabled man who was doing nothing wrong, by the way, except walking while black with a prosthetic leg, because they haven't proven anything else that he's done wrong. And so is this America's finest? Brave men in blue? Now, what I find interesting as well is this man says he's still waiting to receive his prosthetic leg back. What possible justification could anyone give for not giving him his leg back? Can anyone answer that for me? Anybody? I would like for my white viewers to please chime in on this. What reason would you think that these officers would have of not giving this man his prosthetic leg back? This disabled man who obviously depends on it. What reason would they have for not giving it back right away? Also, now you know those things aren't cheap. They're not something that you can just go pick up. They have to be fitted and just, and they cost money. The way they just threw it in the back of the vehicle like it was a piece of trash. The fact that it even came down to an actual arrest of this man, to where they said, well, you know what, we have to get him in there in order for him to fit in the vehicle. In the cop car, we're going to have to take the leg off. So he says they ripped it off violently, and then they just threw it in the back of the police vehicle. Is this the kind of treatment that we see officers giving to everyone else? Chime in below. Chime in below and tell me why it's okay for these things to be done to so-called black people, but not others. You can even show me some scripture, because that's what I talk about. I talk about biblical connections. The scripture tells us why these things are happening. And I'm going to continue to draw that connection so that I can wake up those who are sleepers. It is what it is. The truth is what it is. You see, what they did to this man, who was an innocent man who did nothing wrong. They humiliated him. And they attacked him and ripped off his leg. This is a disabled man. Is this how America treats its citizens? Anyone know the answer to that? Absolutely. Yes, it is. Historically, this is the treatment that they give so-called black people here in America, depending on who you run into that day and how they are feeling. Because not all of them are this way and not all of them feel this way, right? But it's enough of them to have made such a stain on American history that it needs to be talked about, regardless to how those teachers in certain states want to hide these things. They don't want you to talk about it. Regardless to that, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be revealed. Because this is why things like what happened to Emmett Till were allowed to happen, because there was too many people in this country who turned and looked the other way. All right, I am done with this story. In the comment section below, remember to keep it tight and keep it right. But until next time. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.